Most of the students don't score very less. They score a decent marks, but they just miss by 4 to 5 questions. After certain level of preparation, large number of students are on an equal pedestal. The person who has calm nerves, who has an understanding about the psyche of examiner, and the person who has relatively better understanding of the tricks that are employed in the exam will be a successful candidate. So prelims, I would say from my experience, is one of the most important facet is mind game. You need to have absolute patience and sleep before the exam. That will definitely affect at least 4 to 5 questions. In the later stage of your preparation, many students say that they don't refer to newspaper. That's fine, but they also have developed their academic intellectual maturity only after going through newspaper for 1 or 2 years. Warm welcome to all of you. This special session has been curated to address the challenges associated with the prelim stage of the examination. A lot of students doing really well in the later years initially stumble or face some challenge with respect to prelims. This has been understood and widely accepted now that prelims remains one of the toughest stage of the examination, and there are many students who actually have a very good writing skill and understanding of the concept still fails to conquer prelims in the initial 1 or 2 attempts. So we will try to emphasize what all challenges and how can we overcome them. Over the period of time with experience, we do realize that we have understood that what all challenges do come and how UPSC has reoriented itself with respect to prelims. First of all, please understand that prelims is a stage where the competition remains monumentally tough, and importantly, it is also important to recognize that here that multiple things are at underplay. Okay, so one very important thing, now point wise we'll just stick to the thing, that when we go through the syllabus of the prelims in UPSC has not detailed out the syllabus. Mains mein they have given a very broad syllabus, but in the prelim stage of the examination, UPSC has not given a very detailed syllabus. Preliminary examination, they mention in Indian polity and governance, constitution, political system, panchayati raj, public policy, rights issue, etc. But in mains, they have given a very detailed syllabus. Okay, detailed syllabus, for example, GS paper 2, if you see, exhaustive syllabus. So how we can be more, what you call, apt in handling the prelims challenge? First of all, undoubtedly prelims is is a mental what you call mental test of the candidate. Okay, so what I have realized over the period of time, that first thing, being mentally more agile and being more what you call confident, not overconfident, and practicing more papers and all those things of course will definitely make you a better candidate for prelims, because information, almost a broad spectrum of students have same level of information, but it's the aptitude, the commitment, the nerves inside the examination hall. Okay, so two things remain very, very important: the practice before the exam, so that you are well versed with the tricks that are employed during the course of exam, and second, sleeping well before exam. Prelims is purely a mind game. After certain level of preparation, large number of students are on an equal pedestal. The person who has calm nerves, who has an understanding about the psyche of examiner, and the person who has relatively better understanding of the tricks that are employed in the exam will be a successful candidate. So prelims, I would say from my experience, is one of the most important facet is mind game. You need to have absolute patience and sleep before the exam. That will definitely affect at least 4 to 5 questions. Second important thing, most of the students don't score very less. They score a decent marks, but they just miss by 4 to 5 questions. So actually the competition is not getting too many, not getting 60 questions or 80, 85 marks, but the challenge is to have more next 7 to 10 questions that you will make correct will actually decide, or 4 to 5 questions in many cases. Okay, so it is about making those questions correct which commonly students have not made them correct, and second, not making what you call easy questions, not making mistakes over the easy questions. So prelims, please understand, is a mind game. That mind game can only occur if you have certain good understanding of the facts. So what are the key tricks with respect to the prelim stage of the examination? Okay, first of all, since the syllabus is not very detailed out, so what we have done, we have over the period of time with experience, we have realized that what is the what aspect through which the prelims would be navigating. First important thing with respect to prelims, that you need to cover your basics, NCERT. Okay, now you will see that this is one of the more conventional statements that is made, that NCERT. Please remember, there are many students which we see who never fail in prelims year after, although they may take some time in qualifying the final stage, but prelims they are always ready. Reason being that the edifice or the structure can only be built if you have done your basics correct. So believe me, if you will get in all the subjects, if you will get your basic facts as very, very strong, then most likely you are going to, because 40-50 questions at the end of the day is coming from static fact. Maybe 50 or even more, maybe 50 questions or 40 questions have some dynamics or for that matter current affairs aptitude, but facts should be absolutely clear. Second important thing, so reading NCERT, understanding and memorizing is a different thing. NCERT, basic questions from NCERT they ask and they trap the students. So I strongly feel that in all the subjects you must cover NCERT. After a solid, I have seen students year after year scoring 40-50 marks above the cutoff and comfortably doing that year after year. Reason being that in the initial stage of the examination, they have made their facts very, very strong. Any current affairs, dynamics, concept, international aspects or correlation, judgments or any such current movement is of importance only if your facts are. First, what you should do in initial months or years of your preparation, you must get your facts very, very solid, which will help you. Any day prelims will be a relatively easy thing for you. I will not use the term cakewalk if your facts are very good. So first you make, current is good. All the judgments of Supreme Court, articles appearing in Hindu Indian Express, Press Information Bureau, any current scheme that is coming, any conceptual clarity, any recent movement in the budget, any announcements by the government, any interpretation that has come due to a Supreme Court judgment, all such things are secondary. Most of the questions, what is justice, what is due process of law, what is procedure established by law, what is the challenges, what are the limitations of Article 25, what is the principle behind Article 14, most of judicial review, most of the questions are repeated. So get your facts absolutely. If you have a, there are students I see who very comfortably sail through because they get their facts in the initial few years very, very strong. Okay, so and one more thing, I see students are very much interested in few subjects and they ignore few subjects. For example, most of the students have an aptitude towards modern history and polity. See, if you like a subject, please understand if you leave science and technology and certain other subjects not that worse, then your denominator gets lowered. Everybody will contest in 100, but you already don't know one section, so you are contesting in 80 questions. Okay, so having an aptitude for a subject is a good thing, but even the boring one, even the one that does not invite or invoke your interest, you need to. So giving due diligence to all the subjects, especially the boring part, be it the physical, geography, factual aspect, be it the ancient history, be it the science and technology, be it those aspects which are relatively not inviting the interest of the scholars at large, you need to conquer them and of course get your basics absolutely covered. Okay, first thing. Second important thing with respect to this is that when you see previous year's question paper play a vital role. At least 30 to 40% question in the entire question paper is on the concepts that are based on previous years. So going through previous year's question paper, not only for just solving them, also going through the concepts behind those questions that have been asked, you will be smiling in the examination hall that most of the questions that have been asked have concepts based on previous years. For example, one year they will ask procedure established by law, next year they will ask due process of law. One year they will ask the cabinet secretary, next year they will ask the chief secretary. So when you do a particular question in the previous year, you see what are the ancillary topics that are associated with it. So previous year's question paper play a very key role. Whenever you complete a topic, you go through the question paper of the previous years and what all topics have been asked by UPSC at large. Okay, and if they're asking a question, all the 4 options, and especially at least there will be 2 options who would be seemingly correct. Okay, so what is the concept behind those articles? Not just doing previous year's question paper, but also doing them with due diligence and also going through the concept. The challenge is that you have limited time. So always the exam is not very tough, but the syllabus being relatively monumental, it requires, otherwise you will be racing against time. It requires a lot of hard work and consistency. So if you'll start preparing from January, most of the students I see, they start preparing from January and they make a schedule that I'll do polity from 1st to 10th and 11th to 25 will do environment and geography. In this you are racing against time, and those successful candidates who have already done their job from June to December. So the important time is as you start early due to the vast magnitude of the syllabus, definitely you will be more patient in understanding and incorporating those facts in your mind than those who start with. Never race against time. However smart we are, there will be an inner inhibition that, okay, I'll do with the schedule in the limited period of time. So usually students mug up more facts in a limited period of time, and most of the time they are confused in the examination hall. So starting early, doing your basics absolutely correct, and previous year's question paper. Okay. Now UPSC has started a new trend. Initially, they dissuaded from asking articles in the examination hall. They used to ask less number of articles in the examination hall. Now, in last 4 years, especially this year, at least 8 to 9 questions directly from 8 to 9 questions directly were asked from what you call constitutional articles. So previously, UPSC used to refrain from asking articles. Now they ask the question that the term judicial review is mentioned in the constitution or not. When the government change, Attorney General resigns. Money bill, money bill is in Article 109 of the Constitution. It is in both 109 and 110. People usually remember 110 but forget 109. Then, so UPSC is explicitly mentioning articles. Reason is quite loud and absolutely clear. UPSC doesn't want the students to read only the secondary source like M. Lakshmikant or any secondary. You must go through the Constitution. Of course, I am not asking you to memorize the Constitution. There are few articles which remain important all the time. Okay, those articles you should go and read them. For example, if I use the term veto. So in all the textbooks you will find the mention of term absolute veto, pocket veto, suspensive veto and qualified veto, although qualified veto is in USA, not in India. So UPSC will ask a question, which of the following vetoes are explicitly mentioned in the Constitution? What? So people will think, okay, maybe qualified veto is not there, but the term veto is not there in the Constitution. Article 111 doesn't use the term veto. Similarly, we have simple majority, effective majority, absolute majority, special majority. The term majority, with what is that majority is mentioned, but the expression simple is special, effective and absolute has not been used in the Constitution. Effective majority, they have used the term the then members of Rajya Sabha in Article 67. So what is written in the book is a translation and interpretation of the Constitution now, but UPSC is asking, according to the Constitution of India, which of the following vetoes are explicitly mentioned? Here no veto is explicitly mentioned. So UPSC wants you to read the primary source, at least few important articles that are always in news. So I would strongly recommend Constitution. At least you will get 2 to 3 questions correct if you have your Constitution, you have gone through the Constitution. Next important thing, to make the question paper more dynamic, they want students to read newspaper. Even in mains as well as in the prelim stage, last year they asked a question in mains, this year in fact they asked a question in mains, preemptive pardon. Preemptive pardon question was asked in mains. If you see, this was not mentioned in any of the current affairs, but preemptive pardon appeared in Hindu in January 2025. So there was a news item in Hindu on 20th January 2025 and UPSC picked the question from here. So reading newspaper is of extreme importance throughout the year. At least there will be 2-3 questions because UPSC, see, current affairs material is exceptionally good. There is no doubt about that. But no current affairs can replace the primary source, that is what you call the Constitution and all. And most importantly, you cannot replace the main course meals with cashew nuts. So after going through newspaper only, then you would be in a position to have only current affairs. In the later stage of your preparation, many students say that they don't refer to newspaper. That's fine. But they also have developed their academic intellectual maturity only after going through newspaper for 1 or 2 years. So newspapers remain uttermost important. Okay. In the prelim stage of the examination, UPSC dissuades from asking the cases and all those things. Okay. But that is not very important. But the cases that are in news, what are the concept related to those cases, UPSC may ask. For example, if there is a case on secularism, they will ask a concept based on secularism. One more question which I get from many of the students, sir, whether these books like D.D. Basu, Subhash Kashyap, all these books are to be studied or not. Undoubtedly, for GS stage of the examination, these books are not very important, but I am not completely negating them. Wahi same concept is being repeated for last 50 years. Same 7-8 concepts are there. They are asking from Article 14, Article 19, Article 21, Article 25, Article 44. Then they are asking judicial review, collegium. Same questions are. So these preamble, Article 14, 19, 21, 25, judicial review, and basic concept of federalism. These things can be done from from the any standard textbook, be it Didi Basu or Subhash Kashyap. Otherwise, no need to go through the entire textbook. Okay, some concept, wahi due process of law, procedure established by law, secularism, freedom of speech and expression, equality before law and equal protection of laws, uniform civil code. What do you mean by judicial review? Then you have aspects related to the what you call the striking of laws by the judiciary, declaring them as unconstitutional. So basic aspects, appointment of the judges, few concepts which are repeatedly in news, starting from preamble and few articles which I mentioned, that you can do from the standard textbook. Okay. Then with respect to prelims, I would also say, so basics, previous year's question paper, constitution, one standard textbook you should follow, either VisionIAS material or M. Lakshmikant. M. Lakshmikant looks very voluminous and monumental, but it is actually not very voluminous. Okay. The most of the chapters are repeated, because what is part 5 of the constitution, article 52 to 151, is exactly by and large same in part 6 of the constitution, article 152 to 237. Part 5 is for union and part 6 is for states. So Lakshmikant appears to be too voluminous and monumental, but if you will do, most of the chapters are repeated. Parliament, state legislature, National Human Rights Commission, state human rights commission, Central Information Commission, state information commission. But then you have Union Council of Ministers, state council of ministers. Most of the chapters are repetitive. So one standard textbook I would recommend, that you should get your facts correct. Okay. Another important thing is practicing papers. Practicing papers not for the concept of, not practicing papers not only from the perspective of what you call this thing, not only from the perspective of a factual aspect, but also mentoring your mind to how will you behave in the examination hall. Mentoring your mind, how will you behave in the examination hall? That is something which is of paramount importance. So, for example, if the examination is between 9 AM to 11 AM, some people suggest, and I completely subscribe to that, that you should also practice paper before exam in the same time. And in between, you should not move out for any other thing. Sit for 2 hours. Okay. If you have practiced at least 20 questions from 1st January to 30th March, so it will translate into 1800 questions. Okay, 90 days mein. From April, you can practice one paper a day. Okay, so if you will practice 7 to 8,000 questions before appearing for prelims, believe me, prelims will become very easy. And the practice that you have, you will also get to know that what you call, which all areas you are making more questions incorrect, what is your chance of elimination, to what extent you can speculate, speculation aap kitna kar sakte hain, to what extent you can speculate. Sari practice jo hai, all the practice should be done before. I can say with some conviction that even if you do all the literature that is available for humankind on earth, prelims still will remain a tough job if you are not practice papers. And not practicing paper just to access facts, also practicing paper to analyze your skill that in 2 hours, it should be purely conditioned like you are attempting for an exam. If you do this for 2 months, every day one paper from at a speculated time, then on the day of exam, you will feel that this is my habit, and immediately your marks will shoot like 20-25 marks. You will be in a better position to eliminate. So prepare yourself in the exam condition. All such things will not be very much relevant if you don't practice papers, and practicing papers not in a mundane casual manner, but in the way where you will think yourself to be appearing in the exam, and you will practice paper in the same manner. So I very strongly recommend that you have to practice questions. Okay, questions. Previous year's question paper here, okay, when you are reading a topic, what all questions have come from that topic, that will give you an understanding of the topic. This is purely different from practicing papers. In this, you will condition yourself for the exam. You will prepare your mind that you are appearing for the exam, and Abhyas is a stellar, monumental, best exercise, or it is one of the very good initiatives which will allow you to sit in an exam like condition. So honestly saying, if I would be a student, I will never miss an Abhyas and never miss on practicing papers. There have been students with less effort, just because of practicing papers, they have gone to qualify. So all these efforts are of no significance if you last May you don't practice paper, and practicing paper as if you are appearing in exam. That will mentally make you habitual to a particular thing, that will bring into your habit. On the day of exam, it would be a cakewalk. Okay, these all things are there with respect to prelims. Now let's come to polity. Okay. Polity, predominantly 3 to 4 kind of questions UPSC is asking. First question, the conceptual and the factual part, which is static in nature, which they have asked in 72, 77, 82, 87, 91, 96, 98, 2004. Same kind of question in last 50, 70 years. What is due process of law? What is procedure established by law? What do you mean by secularism? What do you mean by liberty? What do you mean by constitutionalism? What do you mean by constitutional morality? What is judicial review? What about the office of speaker? Who takes a decision under the 10th schedule? Whether it is subject to judicial review? Who calls the session of the parliament? Basic articles. So ये तो इसको 4 dimension में, if you will do your basic facts as correct and same, then definitely basic facts में there will be 2-3 questions which you will directly do it from there. Second, the concepts. Concepts में भी UPSC has large aspect. They have repeated the topic. Same topic, there are hardly 7 to 8 or 10 topics, 9-10 topics which are repeated. Concepts में I would say you can briefly study some concepts, especially the articles and the preamble which I mentioned, from any standard textbook. So this is a third important thing, current affairs. Current affairs में UPSC has been, current affairs में what all things they have asked. तो भाई, for example, the office of governor is in news. So 8 April 2025 there was a judgment. So this time they asked the question that a mandamus can be issued against the president or governor, which was a wrong statement under Article 361. President and governor shall not be answerable to any court in exercise of their official duties. Although definitely in that judgment the court said that within the stipulated time, if the governor will not approve the bill, then the people can move court, but that was an exception, and already the matter, there has been an advisory jurisdiction exercised by the Honorable President with the judgment we are awaiting. In general, Article 31 exempts the President and Governor to answer to any court in exercise of their official duties. Of course, in civil matters, a case can be instituted after giving 2 months prior notice, and criminal matters, they enjoy immunity till the time they hold the post. So what I am trying to bring to you is key concepts based the current affairs that is going on and what are the articles related to that. Too many questions you see last 10 years mein. Almost every year they have asked a question on liberty. Why suddenly they are asking so many questions on liberty? They asked Article 20, right against self-incrimination. They asked Indian Prisons Act. They asked Article 22, that a person shall be placed before the magistrate or whether legal counsel should be given or not. They asked on due process of law. They asked on payroll and follow. They asked on judicial custody and police custody. Almost every year they are asking a question on liberty. Why? Because so many cases that we hear, bail and people sometimes being arrested. What is the debate going on? So those topics that are in news. What is the current affairs related to this? What is the concept related to that? This will be the third important aspect. So prominently the questions would hover around this. Sometimes they ask, this is just miscellaneous, interdisciplinary question. For example, budget, it has political ramification as well as economics. Finance Commission, they asked the question, which of the following factors were taken into consideration by Finance Commission in its 15th Finance Commission. This was an economics question as well as polity. So interdisciplinary aspect, for example, they will ask about social justice and link that with preamble. They will ask so schemes and miscellaneous, which has an interdisciplinary aspect you should do. So I'm reiterating myself कि सबसे पहले तो basic NCERT, क्योंकि most of the students whom I see have no stress before the prelim stage of the examination are those who initially in first 6 months or 1 year they have done their basics absolutely correct, not only of conventional subjects but also those subjects which are too boring for many candidates. Once their basic is prepared, 50% of the questions are not going anywhere. They only build an edifice upon that. And basic mein one common problem which I notice, that some subjects NCERTs people don't like studying because of their voluminous or not invoking such interest. No, you cover your basics, all the subjects, memorize them, give the same book again and again rather than reading new books. Basic is correct, every year you will sail through prelims. Then you have previous year's question paper. While doing a topic you will go through the concept. Here previous year's question paper, practicing and practicing questions is different. Here you will condition yourself. 2 aspects are there. One, how you will prepare yourself for the exam, and second, you will be accessing more facts. Okay, so here you basic, one new trend that UPSC is directly mentioning the articles of the Constitution. So this also has to be understood कि they are asking the articles of the Constitution. Surprisingly, they never used to ask articles in the past by mentioning the number of the article. Now they are doing that. If they are asking articles, it is tough, it is not required, nor anyone has memorized all the articles from 1 to 395. Usually it is not required and not even what you call done by the people. But yes, those articles which are in news, If you ask me, I can give you those articles. You can go through article from 12 to 35, you should be well versed. Then preamble, you should be well versed. Then in DPSP, article 38, article 39, B and C. Then you have article 39, capital letter A, article 42, maternity relief. Then article 44, uniform civil code. Article 47, public health and intoxicating drinks and drugs should be prohibited. 48, agriculture on scientific lines. 48A, environment. And 50, separation of judiciary from executive. These are the. Then from 52, you can go through article 54, electoral college of the president. Then you have article 60, the what you call oath of president. 61, impeachment process. Article 67 is important from vice president's removal perspective. Then you have article 74, exceptionally important. Many questions have been asked. Article 74, council of ministers. 75, appointment of prime minister. 76, attorney general. 77 again is very important. Then you have article 78, duties of prime minister. From 79, the parliament shall consist of, you can do 79. Then article 85, the summoning. And then 86 is important, sending messages with respect to bills. 87 is exceptionally important, annual address of the president. 88 has also been asked. Then article 100 is important. Then you have article 102 is important, disqualification. 103 105, immunity granted to the members of parliament when they speak something inside the parliament. 108, joint sitting. Then you have 108, joint sitting. Then you have article 109 and 10, money bill. 111, approval of bills. 112 and 13, that is 112 is annual financial statement, and 113 you have certain aspects related to budget extended. Okay. Then you have article 123, ordinance, and article 124, appointment of the judges of Supreme Court. Then you have article 129, contempt of court. 131, federal dispute. 32, 33 and 34, appellate jurisdiction on constitutional, civil and criminal matter. 136, special leave petition. 137, power of Supreme Court to review its own judgment. They should not be confused with judicial review. This question has been asked by Parliament, by the UPSC. Article 139 also, power of Parliament to enlarge the writ jurisdiction of Supreme Court. 141 is in news. 142 is in news. 143 is in news. This remains important. 148 you can go through comptroller and auditor general, and 150 and 151. After that you have article 163 and 164, relationship between governor and his council of ministers. 163 and 164, appointment of chief minister and all. Some articles from you can also see about governor. 154, 55 and all. Then you have by and large then it is same. Then you have article 169, state legislative council. After that you can see article 211 and 12, which is similar to article 121 and 122 in part 5, is 211 and 212 in part 6. Then you have article 213, important hai. Then we have article 217, appointment of judges of High Court. Then you can go through article 226 and 227. Then you have article 233, higher judicial services. 244, subordinate judicial services. 234, these two important. Then you have article 239 to 241. This is important, union territory. 243 say 243O, you should know. 243P say ZG, urban local bodies. Then relationship between center and state. 245 and 245 to 254, so you should do. Okay. After that you have article 265, no tax shall be levied or collected save by authority of law. 266, no money shall be withdrawn from Consolidated Fund of India except through an appropriation made by law. 267, contingency fund. Then you have article 269, tax levied. 68, levied by the center but collected and appropriated by the states. 269, interstate consignment. Then you have article 270 also you can read. Okay. Then 275, grant in aid. 279A, GST Council. 280, very important, Finance Commission. 281, reports of Finance Commission placed before Parliament. 282, discretionary grant. Then you can leave. Then you have article 300, capital letter A, no person shall be deprived of his property save by the authority of law. 301, interstate trade and commerce. Then you can do article 309, 311 and 312, all India services. You can also do article 315, UPSC. Then article 324, Election Commission of India. 325, no separate electoral roll. 326, universal adult franchise. 327 and 28 is not important. 329 is very important, clause 1 also and clause 2 also. Then you have article 330, seats for SC/ST in Lok Sabha, 331 Anglo-Indian, which has been discontinued nomination, 332 SC/ST in State Legislative Assembly, 330A and 332A is for women reservation. Then you have 335, which is very important, 338 National Commission for Scheduled Castes, 338A Scheduled Tribe, B backward classes, 339 Temporary Tribal Commission, 339 is also important for executive direction given by the center. 340 is Backward Classes Commission. 3 commissions have been constituted, Kaka Kalelkar Commission, Mandal Commission and Justice G. Rohini Commission, 341, 42 and 42A, SC list, ST list and OBC list. Then 343 to 351 remains monumentally important because of languages, especially Article 343, 344, 348 and 351 and 350A and 350B. Then 352 to 360 is National Emergency, President Rule and Financial Emergency, very important. 361 is important, rest you can leave. Next you can go 395. These are the important articles. These articles you should go through. Not hardly 40, 50, you'll go through 3 or 4 times. It will take time, but then there will be a question from here, likelihood. You see I have given them list of articles. Most of the time from there they ask question. Okay. One important thing, dear student, that you need to understand. So I have almost touched upon कि आपको ये समझना है कि basic को एकदम पत्थर कर लेना है. You have to make your foundation very, very strong, practicing papers and concepts and all. And another important thing is that being mentally prepared for the exam. Sleeping well before exam, believe me, is going to help you a lot. In prelims is a mind game. I'm again repeating. However practice you have, if you are not mentally prepared before the exam, if you are mentally a bit anxious, anxiety and all, it is going to hamper. This problem is very commonly seen in prelims, so having rest, changing your schedule, getting up early in the morning just before the exam, especially those students who have the habit of studying at night before the exam, they can change their schedule so that on the day of exam they don't face any problem. This is one major problem which I often sometimes see, that students are what you call, and in this is common issues which do persist. So I think this is going to be very, very handy if you take prelims. Last May, if you ask me, what is 2 key things? 2 key things. One, going through your static very, very well and practicing questions as much as you can in a conditioned atmosphere. Most likely, if you follow these 2, then very strong chance that you are going to qualify prelim stage of the examination, for which this session was specially curated. Okay. One more thing I would say, that do give attention to those subjects also which are inviting less interest, because this is one area where I see students in one subjects like science and technology or other subject, they make most of the questions as incorrect. No, incorrect. If you love polity and modern history, that's just an aspect of it. Go through all the subjects, okay, and start preparing for your prelims early, especially those who couldn't qualify last year. They must understand the challenge that always prelims begins, because do not race against time. Okay, so these are the, I think if you follow these things going through NCERTs, there are 4 NCERTs. 2 are very important, Indian Constitution at Work and Political Theory. 2 you may go through, Democratic Politics Part 1 and Part 2. Okay, so if you follow this, and of course having a copy of the Constitution, an app would also work. Just go through the articles which I mentioned. It is going to be excellent. Okay, so thank you. This was about polity stage of the examination in the prelims. Okay, prelim stage of the examination with respect to polity. Okay, so I hope you all do well. All the best. Thank you.